I agree that this is somewhat tragic, but I also think we can understand why this is the case, right? Because obviously the capacity of the phone will have increased substantially, and also it's hard to calculate what the net energy consumption will be, but certainly the power draw of phones as they get better gets lower. So, and the components used in them become less toxic now. Whether that's worth throwing away the phone and buying a new one is another question. But what's really interesting about this is where you have cutting-edge, non-oatmeal box design in components that are meant to be commodified and replaced every 18 months or every 12 months. It's absolutely the reverse of steampunk stuff. So I think Apple, for example, has totally nailed how to design a device that looks absolutely contemporary and even slightly futuristic the day you get it, and looks completely boring a year later when it's been replaced by a new model that's twice the capacity at 2/3 the price. And so, remember the toilet seat iBooks or the original Kirby, transparent, translucent plastic iMacs, or. But today, they're kind of old-fashioned looking, right? So they managed to make this very ephemeral-looking design that you don't mind throwing away, and I think it has a lot to do with the material choices too. Like an iPod looks like it's been through a rock tumbler for a month, and then you put it in your pocket.
It does.
But meanwhile, I've got like a money clip that's made out of the same kind of material that's been in my pocket with all my coins for a year and doesn't look scratched at all. Apple has chosen a material that is meant to fog up and look like shit in a year, so you don't feel as bad about tossing in the heat. Meanwhile, steampunk is just the reverse.
And if I can actually build on that.
Sure.
Ryan, you had your hand up earlier.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of wanted to address a weird point. There's a story about the Battle of Agincourt, and very, very well known honeycomb saga amongst the British about how the longbowmen and the origin of this thing.
Right.
Steampunks strike me as the longbowmen of technology. They're the people who, by hobby, tinker and learn how to do this. And should it come to a point, which I really don't want it to come to, where as we become completely dependent on the disposable technology, it is really vital to have individuals who have as a hobby how to make your own, how to DIY your own tech. Because eventually the companies that make that for us might not want to make it for us anymore, or might not be able to make it for us anymore. And then the steampunkers, the technology hackers, will become like the long